Hey, parents of college-bound students or college students that are early on and struggling, what if there was a different approach? What if it made sense to not go to college or to discontinue college? I've got some ideas in terms of what you might want to try that might make more sense. Welcome, colleagues. I'm George Sloan. This is Myford University. We have myforduniversity.com, the website. Got quite a good bit of good information over there. Get on the mailing list if you can. This is the the Myford University channel. Please subscribe, give us a like and a share. There's also the MBA Accelerator channel, which is a sub channel to this one, very MBA centric type stuff. If you're dealing with a college student or a potential college student that isn't sure about college, you're not sure about college, I'm going to suggest and lay out a quick idea for you here. Remember, college will always be there, but what if we took a year to experiment? What if we said, look, instead of blowing 25, 35, 45, $55,000 on the first year of college, what if we said, look, let's take $10,000 or less and set up our son and daughter in a small business? Now, I know this sounds a little unusual, but quite frankly, bear with me for a second. Quite frankly, it's not a bad approach. I've talked before about the story of I had a friend whose father was a president of a small local bank, and he had said at one point, rather than college, what I should have done was set him up as a small business contractor, either in painting or landscaping. Now, don't laugh at that. I know some very highly successful painting contractors and landscape contractors, to the point where the value of their homes is greater than the value of their customers' homes. But their customers think they probably have a bigger and better home than these two contractors I'm thinking of. Um, Little do you know, never judge a book by its cover. Um, so, getting back to it, if your child is unsure about going to college or they're struggling and they're not happy at college, why not take a year and invest a few thousand, maybe not only up to 10,000 in setting them up in a small business? To set up as a landscape contractor, there's a little bit of licensing, some insurance, you can get a used vehicle and some basic equipment. And I would say for under 10 grand, you can get yourself set up. Um, why would you want to do this? Well, number one, your college student, and again, this is just one example, your college student will learn quite a bit about business. They'll learn how to deal with contractors, other vendors and such. They'll learn how to coordinate with them. They'll learn how to deal with customers. They'll learn marketing and sales. They'll learn contracts and negotiation. They're going to learn about logistics. They're going to learn with dealing with subcontractors where they hire someone and sometimes it doesn't work out. They're going to get a education by fire, and quite frankly, the education they're going to get, here's what's the worst thing that could happen. They don't really care for it. It doesn't do very well, and they learn this isn't for them. Okay, what's the best thing that could happen? Well, it could be the springboard to one of two things. One, it could be massively successful, and they could be doing this, for the next 25 years, and probably retire by around the age of 50, while their cohorts that went off to college are still paying off their student loans and still struggling, working for the man. Um, that's one thing. Or the second possible successful outcome is they don't love it. They decide to sell it. You probably will recoup your investment because the customer list is probably worth money in and of itself, never mind the equipment. So you'll recapture that. But they will have gained some valuable experience that might put them on the path to what they really want to do. If they had a semi-successful, jaunt into this, hey, maybe I want to do this particular business. You'll have set them on the path to doing that. It's a different approach. It's not an approach for everyone. Um, let's say, for example, you're dealing with a individual that likes working outside, likes working with their hands, uh, this might work. If it's not for them, hey, there are other approaches. You could help them set up a small business where they're doing digital and social media marketing, and that could probably be done for under $5,000. The biggest expense there is going to be getting them the software and the hardware. Getting them a decent computer. It has never been easier to do this kind of thing, and it's not necessarily a bad approach. It is a viable alternative to going to college when they're not quite sure, or continuing with college when they're struggling and not happy. There are many other approaches, and we talk a lot about them here. This channel is dedicated to looking at alternative approaches to traditional higher education. We put a lot of emphasis on getting the knowledge and skills, but more importantly, applying the knowledge and skills. And as I often say, you can create your own self-curated education that you don't need to go the traditional route and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars and several years of your life. Set your kid up in a business, even if it's a trial business, just to get their feet wet, and they will get an education like never before. So if you or your child is interested in learning more, this is the place for you. I'm George Sloan. This is the Myford University channel. There's also myforduniversity.com that has podcasts and blog. Great material over there. Get on the mailing list. Here, please subscribe, give us a like and a share. If they're very business oriented and MBA oriented, the MBA Accelerator channel is a sub channel of this. They can check that out. I highly recommend you give it a try. And again, we cover all sorts of approaches and knowledge and skills that substitute going for that traditional college education. I want to thank you for tuning in. We will see you the next time. Till then.